So you're thinking about moving to Sacramento, California and buying a home, and two suburbs keep coming up over and over again.
Roseville and Elk Grove are number 2 and 3 cities behind Sacramento itself, and almost everyone assumes that it comes down to which one is just flat out better.
It doesn't. We've sat across from families on Zoom who were positive they wanted Roseville and ended up buying in Elk Grove, and the other way around too.
Now, the biggest things that we can always suggest to you guys is it really comes down to your lifestyle, your commute, your budget, and one number a lot of buyers never even think to ask about.
And that one number could cost you thousands of dollars every single year, depending on which neighborhood you end up landing in either city.
So in today's video, we're breaking down both cities the way we'd break it down for a client on a relocation call: commute, lifestyle, school, price, and at the very end, we're showing you exactly where the hidden cost shows up and where it disappears completely. All right, let's start this video off with a map because location for both of these cities is really where the decision begins for a lot of people. Elk Grove is gonna sit in Sacramento County. It's gonna be south of Sacramento, right along Highway 99. You're gonna have I-5 on the west. You're gonna have 99 that runs straight through the middle of it. And it is going to be the second largest city in the entire region. And it has grown a lot since the last video on this exact topic. We're talking close to 180,000 people. And then Roseville is going to sit over in Placer County, northeast along Interstate 80, heading up towards Reno and Tahoe. And it's going to be the third largest city behind Sacramento, right around 155,000 people.
Now, here's the real difference. If you commute into downtown Sacramento, Elk Grove is gonna save you time. We're talking 20 to 25 minutes on a normal day, depending on which part of the city you're in. And Roseville is gonna add anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes onto that same exact drive, just because of the extra distance and the merge points along the way. But if you flip it around completely, if you're headed up to Tahoe on the weekends, or you still work remote for a Bay Area company and only drive in occasionally, then Roseville's position right on I-80 is going to work a lot more in your favor. You can be halfway up the mountain before an Elk Grove family has even made it out of the city.
So outside of the Monday through Friday, yes, Elk Grove can be a little bit quicker to downtown Sacramento, but if we're talking about your extracurricular things, sometimes some of our clients will actually choose Elk Grove because maybe they're coming from the Bay Area and they still have friends or family that they are going back down to visit, you know, maybe once or twice a month, or maybe once or twice a week. Those can be deciding factors that would then weigh in Elk Grove a little bit more, or maybe they still actually have to commute down to work in the Bay Area. So Elk Grove can be a little bit better if you've got to commute into downtown Sacramento or you've got to commute into the city. Now, on the extracurricular side for the weekends for up in Roseville, typically we see a lot of people who like to go up in that direction if they like to spend a lot of time out on the water at Folsom Lake. They like to spend a lot of time out Lake Natoma for paddle boarding, or they're planning on being up in the foothills for hiking, biking, camping, or any type of extracurriculars that you would find over at Lake Tahoe.
All right, so which one actually wins for your commute? Honestly, it depends entirely on where you're driving to and how often you're driving there.
That's where people make their first mistake in this entire process. They pick a city based off of the name or what they've heard before they've ever mapped out their actual weekly drive.
All right, now let's talk about how you'd actually spend your weekends in each city, because this is the part that most people underestimate. So in Elk Grove, you've got a couple different things to do. You've got the Elk Grove Aquatic Center, which is still one of our favorite spots for families. They have an Olympic-sized pool, a splash zone, 2 water slides, and swim teams if your kids want to get competitive. Now, you also have Elk Grove Regional Park, which is one of their massive parks, and it's a place that we love to go to. We film there a lot. So there you've got 2 man-made lakes, you've got mature trees, you've got sports courts, a playground. They also have a community pool there. And the cool thing about Elk Grove Regional Park is that they do a ton of events there year-round. So they do a really big fall festival there where they do different pumpkin activities around Halloween. They also do a tree lighting ceremony there around Christmas time with tons of Christmas events. And then they also do farmers markets there every single weekend. During the summer, they have different summer concert series and summer movie night events there as well. So there's a lot of stuff to do there. So those are going to be 2 of the bigger places. You also have a lot of strip malls with the kind of more local shopping and errands and places that you can go and accomplish all of that, like your Costco's. And you have a ton of really cute coffee shops. So there is definitely things to get out and do while you're out there. But then one of the things that we absolutely love about Elk Grove is that a lot of these neighborhoods do have parks that are also built into them. and a lot of different sports and community activities for families. So Elk Grove is a great family focused center.
Aside from just like all the family stuff too, it has everything that you want and need. So you also have, it has like Sky River Casino if mom and dad wants to go out for a date night. It's got a lot of really good diversity for restaurants. It's got a lot of different ethnic, cultural backgrounds for different kind of restaurants. So I will say, a lot of people who reach out to us about Elk Grove, a lot of things that they really love about Elk Grove in general is like they do have a lot of diversity as it comes to some of the experiences. You've still got your bowling, you still got your laser tag, you got a lot of things that are like family fun. You've got a lot of really cool breweries down here. Dust Bowl Brewery, which is in Old Town. So a lot of things, depending on which pocket of Elk Grove you might live in, you can kind of experience different vibes or different feels, right? So the east side versus the west side versus the north side of Elk Grove, all the way to the south side where like Sky River Casino is and things like that.
Now in Roseville, it's a different vibe entirely. You have a couple mega parks out here in Roseville. You've got Maidu Park, you've got Mahaney, you also have Harry Crab. Each one of these mega parks have different things to offer. So like at Harry Crab, you've got a splash pad, you've got sand volleyball courts. You also have baseball fields, you have a big playground, there's horseshoes out there. Versus like at Mahaney, you've got two different playgrounds, one that's more geared towards younger age children like your toddlers, and then you have another playground that's for older kids. You have basketball out there, you have baseball, you also have a turf soccer field, and then that's also tied to the Roseville Aquatic Center, which is going to have an Olympic-sized regulation pool. You also have some water slides at that aquatic center as well. Then you have Maidu Park, which is one of the other big parks now. That's going to be on the east side of Roseville. They do a farmer's market there every single Sunday. We love going to that farmer's market. You also have a covered turf soccer field there. You have a bunch of outdoor lighted soccer fields as well. You have playgrounds, skate park, basketball. You also have a library there that's right at Maidu Park too. So you could take your kids there and really just hang out and spend the whole day there, do a picnic, whatever. But there's also a lot of events that happen at that park too.
Mahaney has a library as well. They also have a couple of other things too that like they still have the softball fields and all the other stuff that Maidu has. So really it's nice because both Roseville on the east side and the west side, you kind of are anchored by those two mega parks. Harry Crab's over on the east side. And then another thing that they just built was like that Placer Valley soccer complex, which is on the backside of West Park High School. So that's like a 30-field soccer complex. So as far as like things to do, you have a lot of like family oriented things. A lot, probably that's primarily the demographic that, people will live out in the suburbs, usually a little bit more removed, a little bit further away from kind of the conversations that we have about like downtown Sacramento or the urban core or Land Park or some of those neighborhoods that are right around Sacramento. Typically younger vibe, younger crowd. But when you're out in the suburbs like the Rosevilles and the Rocklands and the Folsoms and the Elk Groves, you have a lot of parks, a lot of these neighborhoods, master plan communities that have parks kind of built in within these neighborhoods that aren't necessarily the big mega parks.
Then on top of that, Roseville also has Golfland Sunsplash. So that's definitely going to be the go-to spot for the summer. You've got water slides, mini golf, go-karts. It's one of the places that our daughters love to go every single summer. They get a Sunsplash season pass. And they're there most weekdays and heck, even weeknights for night slides. So if you've got an older kid who wants something fun to do, Roseville's definitely going to have you covered there with Sunsplash. Now, on top of that, Roseville also has the Westfield Galleria, which has over 150 stores. This is going to be the main shopping destination for all of the Sacramento region. So whether you live in Roseville, Rockland, heck, people from Elk Grove also drive out to Roseville if they want to get that mall shopping experience because it is our largest shopping area. Now, across from the Galleria Mall, you have the Fountains, which is right across the street. It's going to be an outdoor boutique shopping center, which is actually where we're at right now. They have a bunch of cute little stores, little walkways that you can spend. They've got coffee shops over here. You've got a Jack's Urban Eats, a Burger Lounge, Whole Foods, and then a bunch of boutique stores.
Now, while Elk Grove doesn't have a mall at scale similar to like Roseville, it does make up for it for a lot of like outdoor activities. So you do have the Sacramento River. That's not too far away. It's a little bit closer to the west side. So kind of like that Laguna West side. And it's a little bit more laid back It has, you know, a lot more neighborhood feels, a lot more like individual pockets with kind of like strip malls or like little shopping centers that are kind of sporadically laid out throughout the city. So it's got a little bit more of that laid back neighborhood feel that a lot of our clients who choose Elk Grove actually prefer. A lot of times with Elk Grove, people tend to lean a little bit more on Sacramento for their activities and events, because some parts of Elk Grove, you're actually a little bit closer to like downtown Sacramento than you would be from Roseville. So while Elk Grove may not have all of the same things that Roseville has, Elk Grove usually you could be into downtown Sacramento within 15 to 20 minutes on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, so if you love them all day and maybe being closer to the mountains, then Roseville might feel more like home. But if you'd rather be by the river with an easier shot into downtown, then Elk Grove is definitely going to be where you're going to want to be.
Now here's where most people screw this up. They pick a lifestyle based off of what they love on vacation or on their scouting trip, and not what they actually live on their every single Monday through Friday. So really you have to ask yourself, what does a normal Tuesday look like for you guys? Go ahead and drop your answers in the comments down below. We read every single one of them. And if this is your first time to the channel, we're Lance and Lauren with the Living in Sacramento team, where we make these videos for you guys about what it's really like living, moving, and relocating to Sacramento and the surrounding suburbs. So we help hundreds of families buy and sell homes right here in the greater Sacramento metro, and we drop videos every single week. We're getting ready to go up to 2 videos a week, so you can have the real boots on the ground info of the new construction, the areas, the pros and cons, and all the information to make the best decision possible. So on top of making these videos, we're also licensed real estate agents in the state of California, which means as much as we love making these videos, we actually love helping you more with all of your real estate needs. So that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and absolutely love helping you guys figure out your strategy, whether it's 6 days, 6 months, 60 days, whatever it looks like. Or better yet, you can scan that QR code, book your one-on-one strategy session, and we can put together the best game plan for you on what it's like moving to the Sacramento region. All right, now schools is one of the biggest differentiating factors between these two cities, and it's a lot bigger than a lot of people realize. So Elk Grove Unified is one of the biggest school districts in the entire Sacramento region. It covers every single grade from elementary all the way through to the high school, and it's one unified district, which means one calendar, one set of school breaks, one set of summer breaks, and way less scheduling headaches if you've got kids at different grade levels. Now, Roseville is set up a little bit differently. Elementary and middle schools report to Roseville City School District, and the high schools follow under Roseville Joint Unified School District. So every once in a while, we've dealt with this pain a little bit, especially with our kids going through the Roseville School Districts and the Roseville Joint Unified. If you have younger kids in the elementary age and you have older kids at the high school age, sometimes those breaks don't always line up. Sometimes summer breaks don't always line up. Back to school doesn't always line up. So definitely one of those things to know and to not get tripped up on, especially if you have multiple kids and they're all at different grade levels. The first day of school and the last day of school for elementary versus the high school kiddos could genuinely be completely different weeks. So make sure that you check both of that stuff. Both districts are really great, and they all really kind of rate above the California average. One of the kind of shining stars for the Roseville Joint Unified School District is Oakmont. It constantly rates as one of the highest rated schools in all of Roseville, and they have really good programs and pathways, nurse pathways, partnerships with dual enrollment with Sierra College, flipping it down, and that's just Oakmont. But then I would say a majority of the high schools, if we take Granite Bay out of Roseville Joint Unified, you still have Roseville High, which is one of the older high schools, always usually really highly rated, 7 or 8. It kind of toggles back and forth between the two depending on the year. You have Wood Creek High School, which is kind of out in that old part of West Roseville. Again, usually always highly rated between like an 8 and a 9 most years. And then the kind of shining star of Roseville Joint Union, which is going to be West Park. And not to say that that's like the best of the best, but it is the newest and it's the nicest and it's kind of the most modern with like the 4 distinct buildings and multiple stories. It kind of feels like something that you would see on the East Coast, or something that's just not very typical of like your kind of single story, 2-story type of high schools that you see out in California. Flipping it over to Elk Grove, Elk Grove has a lot of high schools and a lot of elementary and a lot of middle schools. So where Roseville only has 4 high school, 4 middle schools that are a part of the city of Roseville, Elk Grove has like 7 or 8 high schools and 7 or 8 middle schools and about 40 different elementary schools. So while a majority of Elk Grove Unified is highly rated, you do have about 3 or 4 high schools that are kind of towards the top end of the spectrum that are like Consumnes, Franklin, and Pleasant Grove are usually all rated like 9s. And then you have a couple that are like 7 and 8s, which is like Elk Grove High and Sheldon High and some of the other ones, Monterey Trail. So kind of keep that in mind. Elk Grove Unified covers a bigger disparity as far as some of the areas. Elk Grove Unified goes all the way out to Rancho Cordova, like the newer area of Rancho Cordova. It goes all the way out to Rancho Murrieta, kind of on your way out to Amador County. So much bigger school, but with both districts, you definitely want to make sure that like we're paying attention to those lines. Roseville Joint and Roseville City just kind of redrew their lines. And I'm sure Elk Grove kind of redraws as they kind of see the needs of some of those middle and elementary and high schools. Now let's talk about price, because this is usually the question that starts every single one of our Zoom calls. And as of right now, you can find an entry-level 3-bedroom home in Elk Grove kind of starting in that mid 500s, climbing into the low 600s, depending on the neighborhood, whether or not it's a resale versus new construction, and then also depending on the size. Now Roseville does run a little bit higher across the board. You are looking at kind of like lower 6 for entry levels, but we have seen some of those areas like Placer 1 that do have some new construction options that are going to be kind of available in the lower to mid 500 range. So mainly, you know, kind of that sweet spot is also going to be kind of high 5s to low 6s, maybe even mid 6s. And then you can go well into the, you know, high 800s, 900s, even low 1 millions in both areas. But once you get into the West Roseville new construction or anything close to Morgan Creek, it's definitely going to be very different. Both areas have a good diversity from entry level to kind of your mid price point. Kind of that sweet spot, I would say, in both areas is really going to be, you know, 600 to 850,000, whether that's new construction in Elk Grove or West Roseville, or it's resale in Elk Grove or Roseville. Kind of that sweet spot for a lot of those areas is going to be 6 to about 850, and that's going to get you anything from like a 3.2 all the way up to sometimes even like a 4.3 or even a 5.3, depending on the area or the house.
And this is exactly where people forget to ask the one question that actually protects their monthly payment. And we're going to get to that, so definitely stick with us. All right, let's get specific about actual neighborhoods, because this is where the decision gets real. In Elk Grove, you've got established communities like Laguna West, Lakeside, and Camden. You also have newer construction that's pushing out towards the south side of the city. But if you want a little more land or some breathing room in between you and your neighbor, then the eastern side of Elk Grove has more of those ranch-style, rural feeling lots, which is going to be where you're going to want to be. Now in Roseville, East Roseville gives you established neighborhoods like Johnson Ranch and Maidu. Then you've got Central Roseville, which has older cottage-style homes near the historic downtown, as well as homes close to Diamond Oaks Golf Course and all of that central retail shopping. And West Roseville is where most of the new construction is happening right now. If you're moving here for a 55 and up lifestyle, Roseville's definitely going to have more options straight across the board. You've got places like Sun City, the Club at West Park, Heritage Solaire, and a couple new 55 and up communities that are slated for later in the next couple years.
Now, honestly, both cities can absolutely work for your family, but the real question for a lot of people is, what kind of daily rhythm do you actually want? Elk Grove tends to fit a lot of families who want the easier commute into downtown Sacramento. Sometimes they want a lower price point. Roseville tends to fit the families who want to be closer to the foothills. They want to be closer to Lake Tahoe. They want to be closer to shopping at the Galleria and have just a little bit more family kind of friendly entertainment like Topgolf or the water park, and they don't pay just a tad bit more for it. So both are very comparable cities, but Roseville might be a little bit more expensive when it comes to the housing. All right, so we've covered the commute, the lifestyles, the schools, and the general price, but there's still the one thing that's buried in these price tags that most agents never explain properly, and it can completely catch buyers off guard. Now, here's the thing that nobody tells you when comparing these two cities on paper or even in real life. Property tax rates aren't exactly the same from neighborhood to neighborhood or even inside of the same city. A lot of these newer construction communities in both South Elk Grove or West Roseville carry something that we've talked about on this channel called Melrose or CFDs or Community Facility District bonds. And what they are is a special tax assessment that actually gets added right on top of your base property tax. So it is a property tax, and it's used to pay for things like roads, parks, schools, all that are new in that brand new neighborhood. Now, depending on the community, that can add somewhere to be $250 to $400 per month or a couple $1,000s per year on top of what you're actually paying for your mortgage payment and all of your utilities. So, you know, one of the things that people honestly compare between these two cities is they sometimes compare older established neighborhoods that were built before some of these districts existed that don't carry that charge at all, or they're just kind of that cup of tea that just want a brand new construction home that's never been lived in, that's got all the warranties and the builder warranties, and sometimes even those incentives. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. If you do want new construction, most of the time it's going to come with Mello-Roos. HOAs are kind of about 50-50 or 40-60, but most all of the new construction are going to have Mello-Roos.
All right, so let's recap everything we just walked through. Elk Grove gets you a shorter commute into downtown Sacramento, one unified school district, which is super convenient for families with multiple kids across different age groups, and a lower entry price point.
Now, Roseville does get you a little bit better shopping. It is located on the eastern side of Sacramento at the base of the foothills, so you do have closer proximity to Tahoe or hiking, or just closer access to kind of getting on trailheads or retail like the mall or the fountains like where we're at right now. You do have more established neighborhoods, I would say, between both. You do have a little bit more walkability in Roseville than you do in Elk Grove. Elk Grove is, being the second largest city, it is a little bit more massive. You do have a little bit more car dependency there.
Now, before this video, you probably would have picked based on a price or whichever one your family member recommended. And after this video, you're gonna know how to map your commute, check the school district split, and ask about Mello-Roos before you fall in love with any specific house, neighborhood, or floor plan.
So if you're weighing Roseville against Elk Grove, or honestly any other Sacramento suburb around the greater Sacramento metro, this is exactly what we help people do every single day. Reach out and book that free Zoom relocation planning session where we'll walk you through all of the neighborhoods. We'll pull up the tax details. We're gonna ask you 2 or 3 different questions about your lifestyle and your family. We're gonna actually help you figure out which area fits your lifestyle and your budget. By the end of those calls, usually people are able to eliminate about 97% of the areas that we feature on this channel. So we told you at the beginning of this video, if you actually wanted to know which city actually has the hidden tax trap, and remember, we are the most trusted relocation team in the Sacramento region. So give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us that email, because we do have your back when it comes to relocating out here to the greater Sacramento metro.
So here it is. It's not Roseville and it's not Elk Grove. It's whichever new construction neighborhood you're looking at in either city. If it's newer, always ask about Mello-Roos before you fall in love with that home. And if you're serious about moving out here and you want more videos just like this one, we put together a playlist right here. Go ahead, click on it, and we'll see you on the next one.